On a cold night in 1961, over a quiet North Carolina town, a B-52 bomber began to fall apart in the sky. Inside that bomber were two nuclear bombs, each 250 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. And as the aircraft tore open, one of those bombs slipped free, fell toward the ground, and began arming itself. If that bomb had detonated, the United States might have wiped its own states off the map, from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. This is the story America hid for 40 years. The night the U.S. lost a nuclear bomb and barely survived one of the deadliest accidents in human history. January 24, 1961. A U.S. Air Force B-52 Stratofortress takes off from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. This wasn't a normal mission. It was a Cold War airborne alert mission, meaning the bomber was carrying live nuclear bombs ready to strike if the Soviet Union attacked. Inside the plane, V, 8 crew members, V, 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs, V, 24-hour flight rotation. For hours, the flight was routine, but around midnight, the right wing's fuel tank began leaking fast. The crew radioed the base. They attempted to land, but at 10,000 feet, the aircraft began shaking violently. Metal screamed, the engine vibrated, and then the wing tore apart. The bomber broke open in the sky. As the plane disintegrated, the nuclear bombs were released. Bomb 1 fell 2,000 feet before its parachute deployed, but the parachute didn't help. The bomb's arming mechanisms activated. That meant switches moved, power circuits engaged, detonation sequence began. One single switch, a tiny electrical safety switch, was the only thing that stopped a nuclear fireball. Bomb 2 fell nose first at 700 miles per hour. It hit a muddy field outside Goldsboro, North Carolina, and it buried itself deep underground. To this day, that bomb has never been recovered. When the Air Force arrived, the scene was pure chaos. Twisted bomber metal everywhere, fire, fuel still burning. Crew members parachuted into trees and swamps. 2 died. Bomb recovery teams were stunned to see what Bomb 1 looked like. Its 5 of 6 nuclear safety mechanisms had failed. Only one fragile switch stopped the detonation. If it had flipped, North Carolina would have been obliterated instantly. Declassified documents later revealed the blast would have vaporized Goldsboro, destroyed most of North Carolina, hit Washington, D.C. with lethal fallout, spread radioactive dust as far as New York. A senior nuclear engineer later wrote, "We came dangerously close to a major catastrophe." Bomb 2 was a different problem. The impact sent it burying deep into swampy farmland. The military dug and dug and dug. They found the tail, the casing, wiring, parts of the trigger system. But the nuclear core, containing uranium and plutonium, was gone. It had sunk deeper into the wet ground, possibly broken, possibly intact. After weeks of searching, the U.S. Air Force made a stunning announcement. They gave up. They left the bomb in the ground and purchased the land from the owner so no one could ever dig there. To this day, a nuclear bomb core remains somewhere beneath North Carolina soil. Some experts believe it's still there, perfectly preserved in mud. For decades, the government denied the bomb ever came close to detonating. Reporters asked questions. Officials said there was never any danger. But behind closed doors, internal memos told a different story. In 2013, a top-secret document was declassified. It revealed that the bomb came one mechanical switch away from a full-scale nuclear explosion. The document's author wrote, "The MK-39 was not safe. It nearly detonated." This was the government's worst nightmare. A nuclear bomb dropped on American soil, arming itself and almost detonating. Scientists later calculated the blast effects. If Bomb 1 had gone off, Ground Zero, Goldsboro, vaporized instantly. 20-mile radius, nothing left standing. Fallout zones, Raleigh, Richmond, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York. Millions dead. Tens of millions exposed to radiation. Mass evacuation. Economic collapse. It would have been the worst disaster in U.S. history, caused by the U.S. itself. And it almost happened. When the truth finally came out, it wasn't from a politician. Not from a general, not from the White House. It came from a whistleblower named Parker F. Jones, a nuclear weapons safety engineer. He reviewed the incident and wrote the now famous classified report. We were 2 steps from Armageddon. His work forced the government to tighten nuclear safety protocols nationwide. Today, a small sign stands in a quiet North Carolina field. It reads, "Nuclear Mishap, 1961." Most people who drive by never notice it. They don't know a nuclear bomb is buried somewhere under their feet. They don't know how close America came to destroying itself. This story isn't taught in schools. It isn't in textbooks. But for one night in 1961, the fate of America hung on a single switch. And somehow, by luck, by chance, or by miracle, it stayed in the off position.